What's going on, guys? It's Tim and Julian from Advanced Agent Marketing. In today's video, we have a very special guest, Trevor Tribbian. He's one of our students in the Secrets to 77 Cents Facebook course. He's seen some massive results. On his first week, he was able to write 6K on 6 apps. I think close to 5K of that was off of his own Facebook leads, and he only spent around 270 bucks. I did the math so you don't have to. That is an 18 to 1 return on his ad spend, meaning for every $1 he spent on leads, he got $18 in annual premium in sales. So we wanted to bring you on today, Trevor, just to kind of ask you how you're doing it, man. You're killing it. We're pretty early into the life cycle of this program, and you're already seeing massive success. What are you doing?
Yeah, right on. Thanks for having me, Tim and Julian. So so my name's Trevor Travian. I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada. So just to kind of bring you up to speed, been in the insurance business and the insurance game since 2016, been an entrepreneur pretty much my whole life. So, when with what I do in the insurance space, things have been there've been a lot of changes because of COVID, what have you, the times we're living in. And I specifically was in a niche called mortgage protection. That niche is changing a lot. So one of the things I was looking into was getting into self-generating my leads. So it's just like the universe tells you, you're looking and going along, and all of a sudden I see a video pop up like, hey, 77 cent Facebook lead. So it was like, boom, the universe was talking to me. So I was like, you know what? No problem. Let's do it. And everything that you guys talked about wasn't just a course to, hey, let's show you how to set up this ad, and then you can hire me for thousands of dollars to tell you what to do next. But you literally laid out the whole game plan. So that had me like super excited. So to answer your question, like about the results, literally all I did was took some time out of my week on like a Wednesday, shut everything down, and started listening to your course, module 1, module 2, how to set up my ads account, how to do my business page, how to use Canva. Those are all things that were barriers that stopped me before because I'd have to outsource graphic design, this and that. So it allowed me to feel like I was in control and also be creative in that same standpoint. And then when we got into designing the ads and do it, you literally have it done for you. Like, this is a no-brainer. I literally sat on the videos as you're going through and clicked this in my ad account as you did this. So I did the exact same thing you said, hooked it up to the CRM, and guess what? That was on a Wednesday night. Thursday that morning, I had leads coming in. So, I mean, it really was that easy as me just following the instructions and plug and play. So I was really happy about that.
That's fantastic. And how long would you say it took you to set up everything from module 1 to module 3 where you're actually launching ads?
That's a good question. So, I mean, I just took it piecemeal. I just wanted to be able to set up my ads manager one day, Facebook page one day, set up the ads the next day. And then on the third day I launched, right? Because we get into the CRM. Now, could you have done it in 4 hours if you wanted to? Absolutely, right? But again, I'm a producing agent in the field, right? So I'm running a business at the same time. So it wasn't like I just put my whole life on hold to do this. I did this in my spare time, getting something completely brand new, which was super easy but new, right? So I had to develop a new skill set. So that's how long it took me.
Okay, perfect. Now I know we were talking a little bit before. You kind of do a blend of mortgage protection and you're transitioning over to final expense as well. I think most of your leads previously kind of came from direct mail. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. And so how has the transition been for you, at least, over from solely direct mail to now Facebook leads? Have you noticed any difference in quality or anything else that you've kind of picked up on as far as working the leads?
Right. That's a great question. So one of the things when the pandemic happened, I quit going face to face and went virtually. For mortgage protection, that's just like what we're doing right here.
Right.
Call people up, set a time, do a virtual meeting, do my in-home presentation, just like I was in the house. That went really well. And so like the direct mail is great, but you need more leads than time. So I recognize that and recognize that the future really is digital advertising. As much as I love direct mail leads with the intent, Every other vertical except for insurance seems to go all digital and are selling millions of dollars in goods and services. So why can't insurance? Why can't the agent figure it out? So I did. I invested a little bit of time in buying from a lead vendor on leads, and did that and sunk my teeth into it and kind of got my feet wet to understand the difference in the speed. I think that's the biggest thing that people have a problem with in this business is the speed of the business. Because in direct mail, you have to get the leads, you go, you close it, you see it, it's done. You go through a whole cycle in the week. With this, it even goes faster, right? So with the leads coming in, they're instant, right? You call them, you set them, you book them. And one of the things, like I just followed the system, did what you guys were talking about, did telesales instead of virtual meetings. And literally, all I'm trying to do is open up a good conversation with somebody, know that we're both real human, figure out a solution for their problem, and be able to get them to take action. And I had success right away in doing it. So it was really cool.
And Trevor, I'm curious. So you've been working. We started off with direct mail leads as well. We talked about this a little earlier before we hopped on the interview here. And so Tim and I both started out on direct mail. You started out on direct mail. We all three of us have done face to face. We door knocked if we got no showed. Some days I just straight up only door knocked. I actually allotted my Saturdays to that because that's where I saw the most success. Everybody's home, right? But right. I'm curious, what kind of a production jump or difference have you seen from working face to face in the field versus working telesales?
No, that's another good question. So I can tell you this. So for anybody that's getting started in insurance, I think they should all try out a little bit of face-to-face, really, because you're going to learn the fundamentals of what's going on in a situation where it's live fire. So in the environment that I see, because you are face-to-face, I think with the right person, you probably will see more numbers, but there's also an adverse effect to that, which is also the amount of leads you have, right? So if you can have more leads than time, then you're going to see more premium come out the other end. So what I mean is, when you're getting direct mail leads, what I was getting, if I was getting 10, 15, 20 leads a week, I could keep my calendar full doing that between running appointments, seeing people, door knocking, that sort of thing. So with electronic leads or Facebook leads, you're not going to have 15 leads that are going to make sense. But you know what? You can see the same production if you can put yourself into a system that you can manage and scale. Why not 70 leads a week? Why not 80 leads a week? And you know what? Out of that, if you're good enough and you get your skills going the way you need to, if you can skill up, you can scale out and you can see just as much production easily.
I like the way that you said live fire, Trevor. That's one thing that I preach to everybody that either works with us personally, within our business, or any agent that we ever run into. If they haven't had any experience in the field, I always recommend that people go out into the field. I think that was some of the best, and correct me if you think I'm wrong, Tim, but I feel like that's some of the best experience we got. There's no better way to understand your consumer than to visit them at their house. There just isn't. If you're marketing to them, if you're selling to them, I was
going to say, yeah.
It doesn't really, it doesn't really matter what you're doing. If you're just calling them, you know how many, I can tell you how many times their phone rings in an hour. I know what these people have on their wall. We know what these people hang outside their front door, and I think that's an edge that especially the three of us have over people who have maybe never been face to face. But I do kind of agree that when you have more shots, you have more opportunities, you're going to get a lot more premium out on the back end. And I like the way you said leads with time. I completely agree. I was limited to 25 leads a week, and that was based off of, I was only running in North Carolina face to face. Tim was the same. We were just kind of limited to what, the liberty of whatever was sent back in whatever area at the time, because that was where our old IMO's home base was. So, we had, I can't even tell you how many agents in North Carolina. It was slim pickings for us.
Yeah, and that's the thing too with with having your own leads, you have control over where you run, and you're not relying on somebody else as far as, oh shoot, the direct mail batch this week is looking kind of thin. What am I going to do? But I'm curious, Trevor, if you don't mind, could you pull up your Facebook dashboard, and obviously we'll blur out anything that shows your personal information or the actual ads that you're running specifically, but I think it would be really helpful for the people watching this video to see the numbers that you're seeing.
Sure, absolutely. I just need to be able to share the screen. You're gonna have to switch the.
Oh yeah, let me switch you over real quick.
So let's get in here. Okay, so you guys can see my screen, correct?
We can,
Yep.
yes.
Okay, perfect. So what I was talking about, the campaign we first set up, was this the lead gen FE? This is exactly what you teach in your course. You can see that there was 2 different ad sets under the one campaign. I'm in what you call phase 3 in your course, and here are all my different ads that I've been working with. Now to go through the numbers, right? My ad set is set for $40 a day. I have 3 different ads running, but here's what we got, right? 71 total leads since August. It's in here. August the 3rd, I believe.
Okay.
That sounds right.
So,
I think that's when you said you launched it.
8 days, and as you can see, right, some were doing good, some better than others, but this one's doing really well, 37 leads, and it's not even the reach, right, for the amount of I'm targeting for the amount of people is pretty crazy, and there's my cost, right? So out of 1,600 people, that's the amount of leads. So what that means is that this isn't saturated at all. There's plenty of room to grow. There's plenty of room to keep going. And this is my total ad spend on everything with testing and everything. But if you can see right here, at $3.18 a lead on average. So that's where I'm working. I still have a ton of leads to go through and call that I'm working on.
Wow.
I'm enjoying it. It's really good. It's good stuff.
That's fantastic. And you said on that, the 70, because when you showed me the numbers, it was 67. It seems like you've got about 11 more that have came in since then. How much AP did you write on those leads, including the life insurance for truckers?
That was it was about $5,000. I had a direct mail lead that came in that I did one more on top of that for the week, so about $6,000 for the week, and that's a pretty good week. That's about an average week. I mean, I'm trying to shoot for 10,000 a week. That's always my goal, right? So it's just, it's again, like we're talking about, you have more leads in time. You can build up on the leads on one side. You should be able to get more swings, and you scale up and scale out, right? And then another thing I will say, kind of to answer that in a little bit other on the topic that made me think here, is one of the things that's also very important as you're scaling up and scaling out is that the amount of hits that you can, or the amount of bats that you can swing at the leads to be able to grow your business, right? So one of the things I realized as an agent is producing, it's great to have 6,000 a month, 10,000 a month, but when you can go more than 1-to-1, then you're going to belly to belly, then you're going at somebody's house face to face. When you're going online, it's one to many, right? So
right.
That is one thing that can really put your business into overdrive as an insurance agent. So when you were having 100 leads a week, it's easy to take it to 10, 15, 20 grand a week in premium. And maybe you could have never done that in the field. So that's, again, it just gets me really excited to think about this and the opportunities that they're mindless. It can just explode what you want to do, all the creativity that you can think of and how you want to scale this. It's really exciting.
100%. And just from looking in your campaign, honestly, dude, you could probably double that lead budget right now, and your lead cost would maybe be jumped by a few cents. I think you got a lot of opportunity to grow there. If you want to increase the amount of leads coming in, I think you definitely could. It looks like you have a lot of room there.
Right. I just had my new headlines approved, so the ad started running today. So that was the next thing, was to up the budget 20%.
There you go. It's looking good.
I'm curious, Trevor. So for everybody that's watching this, you've kind of talked a little bit about your production. We've seen the lead cost. We've seen how many leads are coming in. How many phone calls are you making a day? Is it how many do you have, like a number of sit downs, or I guess not sit downs, but phone sits, whatever you call them. What is it that you are doing? Is there a system? Is there a method to the madness? Tell us a little about that.
Right. So there's a CRM that's involved in this. That's really great. And you guys do plug and play in there. And so there's something called a pipeline, right? And it's literally just like a video game. A lead comes in, it goes to one stage, and their whole goal is to clean out those stages and take it to the next stage. And so I've been fortunate enough where I have so many leads coming in, I'm not even out of the second stage yet. And so there's another thing that also happens as well is it's like doing a virtual door knock, right? So you're going to call somebody, talk to them, and they're going to tell you, hey, great, right now is a good time, right? I had that on a couple of these policies, and we just got it done right there, right? So this wasn't even from a set from on the calendar. It was just call somebody. They're very receptive, and they said, let's figure this out. Let's do it. So that's kind of how it's been. I want to say about 30 more leads through that I need to call on that haven't responded to me, that I'm taking into the second stage. And through that, my whole mindset is to resolve the leads. So what that means is I'm just looking for someone to say they're not interested, they got it taken care of, or don't call me anymore. So that way it leaves more space for me to focus on the new leads that come in or the people that want to have that conversation and book an appointment.
Absolutely. And so do you have like a quota for how many people you talk to a day or how many dials, or you just go until a certain time, or how does that work for you?
Yeah, I mean, when I'm not busy, I can do that. I'm just trying to clear out the stage one, right? And so like I'm not really so much counting how many dials I'm doing. I'm double dialing, I'm triple dialing. So if I have 25 leads I got to go through today, that's 75 dials, 100 dials, right?
Right. So it kind of just depends on how many people you have to talk to, but you're always looking to clear that first stage out at least.
Exactly. And so the success I had last week, and that was on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, where it was basically going was this 3 or 4 appointments today. So it wasn't even a lot. I know a lot of people in this space talk about that you need 20 to 30 appointments, and that's what I'm shooting for. That's what I'm trying to do is 5 or 6 appointments a day.
Cool. One thing I noticed, and tell me if you've noticed this as well. I know we kind of I think we run in kind of different sides of the country, actually. I know that we have like a very similar setup, though. So when you started talking to people on Facebook versus direct mail, did you notice a difference in premium?
Yeah, just because it's a different vertical, right? So one with mortgage protection, it's a higher premium because of the amount of insurance we're covering versus somebody that's doing burial. But there's other ways. Again, it's a new skill for me. It's a new skill set, doing final expense burial insurance. So as I evolve in my skill set and it gets better, right, then I'm going to scale it. And then there's other ways to add value. So you're going to add value to figure out how to be able to get more AP, right? If it makes sense for the client. The easiest thing is just to let the client choose what they want to do, and then also, advise them in that situation what makes the best sense for their situation.
Absolutely. And I've actually talked clients down before in premium. I had a guy, he was making, $761 a month, I think it was, and he tried to buy $479 or something in insurance from me, just because he was so excited to help out his family. And I was like, look, man, like, we got to figure this out, because that's not how that works. And, it's a lot of agents are out there and they're looking for the premium, but what they don't realize is that oftentimes it'll lead to a chargeback, or maybe they're more uncomfortable in their day-to-day, and it's not our job as a consultant to give that to people. But I forgot that you had started out in mortgage protection with direct mail. One thing that I had noticed was when I went from direct mail final expense leads to Facebook leads, I noticed that the premium was higher. And I think one reason for that was maybe because they're on Facebook, maybe they're a little more tech savvy.
Prerequisites.
The prerequisites, I feel like maybe there is more there financially, just because they're spending, that means that they have to have a smartphone or a computer, right? They have to have a tablet. Right. They're out actively talking to people. They're actively doing things and socializing on social media, just like us. So I don't know. That's just something that I noticed. I never really have done mortgage protection as much. So, if it presented itself, obviously, but I've never only ran that lead. It's just kind of something that I've bumped into if I've been out there.
Right. It's like my average AP that I'm seeing is somewhere around $50 a month, or not AP, but per month, right? On the policies that I'm doing. That's perfect. You know why? Because as an agent, I love to do those all day, because there's good upside to it, but also if for some reason a policy goes away, there's not so much downside to it. So again, that's the whole point. You have more leads than time, bring on a lot of great clients that you want to serve. And I'd rather have 100 clients paying 1 penny than have one client paying $1, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Exactly.
100%. And so earlier in our call, you had you'd referred to a term, you called it lead poverty. Can you kind of describe the difference between lead poverty and then kind of what you're seeing now and the differences in those two situations?
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys are into mindset and personal growth and that sort of thing. I can tell, right? So, I mean, yeah, of course, right? So, I mean, it really just comes down to an abundance mentality or a mentality of scarcity. So when I talk about leads, when somebody's coming into a business, or specifically the direct mail leads, there's a cost to it, right? So we're all, as new agents, very conscious and want to be budget wise in what we're doing. But as a business owner, you have to spend money to make money. So what does that mean? So if you're only going to go out and buy 2 mortgage protection leads, let's say that costs you $100, and you go out and you don't get a sale, then you say, hey, these things don't work, or I can only buy 5 leads at a time, and I got to resolve all 5 of my leads before I can do another 5. That's the absolute wrong mentality to succeed in any kind of business endeavor, insurance, athletics, or anything like that. So, and that is lead poverty right there, is where people don't feel like they have enough leads, so they hold on to them, they hoard them, and they stay there and they don't move on. When you're in abundance mentality, it's really, you don't really care. You're just moving on and looking for the right conversation with the right people to provide value. And that transmutes through the phone, through Zoom, face to face. And that shows. And that's really where the most successful agents that I've seen in this business, where they really shine. They understand it's a business. They understand there's an expense to it, but you know what? Like, they can outrun it because they have enough people to talk to that they keep moving forward. And that's where the success in this business, where it starts getting fun, getting on the phone, where you don't have telephone hesitancy, you're just talking to people. And so what if somebody says no? It clears the room for somebody to say yes. So when I say lead poverty, that's it. You can have 100 leads, and trust me, working 100 leads, if you got to dial on, it's going to take you a while to get through all of them, versus 3 leads that you're going to try and call, set an appointment, door knock, and wait till next week to see what's going on. It's no way to run a business.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's such a cliche to say that it's a numbers game, but at the core, like the most basic sense, it really just is. The more leads you have, the more shots you have, the less needy and the less commission breath you have on the phone, when you know that if they don't want it, you can call 70 more people within the next 5 minutes.
Right, exactly. So I had a mentor that broke it down like this, that's always stuck with me. Number 1, you need more leads than time, right? And number 2, you have to sort the suspects from the prospects. And when you have a good prospect on the line, you're going to have a good conversation, and then you're going to add value, and then you're going to find something that ultimately provides value, where you're able to help them out and close the deal. And that's really it. That's sales 101, and the system you guys have put together with the CRM puts all those pieces together in a way to stay organized.
That's great. And I'm curious, on a more personal level, where do you see yourself going within this business? What are your goals, and what are you trying to build yourself?
Yeah, so what I'm trying to do with myself, and obviously I don't need to validate this system, it works, right? So I'm sure that's where a lot of people that are watching this is, does it work? I've actually had a couple people reach out to me from your group, because we've been talking, right? Hey, how are you doing it? How does this work? And I'm like, you know what? Number 1, for the price of basically 4 mortgage protection leads, right? You can buy Tim and Julian's course. Like, it's a no-brainer to be able to invest in yourself. So that right there was worth it right there. But where I see myself going is, I want to get my production where it's predictable. Because in life insurance sales, as a life insurance agent, it gets really fun when you're doing $20,000 a month in AP, right? It gets pretty cool, especially in the right insurance business, when you're writing it right, and you do a sale on Monday and your commission's there on Wednesday. Things get fun, right? And so the next step to really on this is to scale it out not only as an agent, but to bring my friends aboard with me to be able to use this to be able to scale out on a bigger scale. So that's kind of my big vision there, using the technology, attracting the right people with the right mindset, be able to use this to be able to scale out as a team.
That's awesome. And I do got to say thank you so much. For you've been very responsive within the group. You've given us a lot of feedback, and it's helped us probably just as much or more than it's helped you. So I really do appreciate you being very in depth and active within the group. And I think we have a long future of working together. If agents are interested in working with you and working with your agency, where could they go to learn more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. You can just look me up on Facebook. It's just my name, Trevor Trabian. I don't know if it's on the screen on my Zoom name. Just look me up, send me a DM, that sort of thing. I'm a boutique agency. I'm really just work as a team. I mentor people. So people that want to come on and work and hustle, that's what we're trying to do. We're not trying to bring on everybody. And for the right people, I'm willing to walk hand in hand and lock arms together and grow this thing together.
And we'll have a link down below this video if anyone's interested in learning how to go ahead and work with Trevor. We'll have a link to his Facebook profile. Go reach out to him. He's a great guy, and I'm sure you could learn a lot from him as far as the insurance sales go.
And one thing I want to ask you, Trevor, as well, for maybe there's people out there that are going to watch this video, that are maybe watching this video right now, that are probably wondering what it takes to be successful. Some of them maybe even thinking at this moment, what does it take to survive this thing and even get to maybe 20K a month sounds like an impossible feat. What maybe few pieces of advice would you give to that agent that's either struggling or they're just trying to break through a plateau and reach a new height in this business?
Right. Number one is this really getting your skill set in place. You got to think of it like a season. So if you're a new agent and maybe just new to sales or new to the insurance business, there's a particular set of skills that you got to learn, which is setting appointments, talking to people, doing your presentation. So you're going to go through that season, right? Some people do it quick. Some people do it a little bit slow. Don't worry about it. That's where the leads come in. You have enough leads, you can work through this, whether they're age leads, Facebook leads, that sort of thing. Also set yourself up for success by not allowing yourself to be set up for disappointment. So what that means is that work until you can make this happen. I remember when I first started, I went out and did this. They told me to make a few phone calls. I would talk to people, and then all of a sudden I'd have like 10 grand in AP. Well, guess what? I wasn't an overnight success, right? Like I literally had to call people, drive around and door knock. And it was literally a month into this business. I did a door knock where I met this guy at his house and he wouldn't let me in his house. And we actually got the deal done in a McDonald's across the street. So, you got to have persistence, right? It will happen. And so then what happens once you get through that season of the skill set, you're going to start building this belief. And that's the mindset I was talking about. And when you know that you have a certain formula that you can work where you put in the amount of effort and work, right, then you're going to be able to, at the other end of it, every time it always works, where you're going to be able to get the kind of business you want. And one of the sayings that we have is you can always have a bad week, but it's almost impossible to have a bad month when you're staying in action. And that's the biggest thing for a new agent. Develop that first skill set, have a belief in yourself, right? Build that belief or find a mentor that can help you with that belief, then stay in action. And then the last part is just have more leads and time. And that's, you guys are solving that problem right there, that solution for agents. Either it's face-to-face or doing telesales.
Well, in addition, if anybody is interested in joining the Secrets to 77 Cents Facebook program, when you can learn how to generate your own leads, there's going to be a link down below. It's going to take you to a page with like a 30-minute free training. We'll show you kind of the basics of setting things up, and then if you decide to move forward and get into the paid program, where you're going to learn everything more in depth, you're going to have access to the exact same ads that Trevor was able to use. I think you literally just used the ones that were already pre-made, right? Just plug and play?
Literally did everything you said step by step. So, I mean, like, you got to do this, man. I mean, I know it's a plug for it, but like, it's definitely eye-opening, and just do it. It's about collaboration. That's what I like about you guys, Tim and Julian. It's about collaboration, not competition. So just go ahead and do it. Invest in yourself.
Absolutely. Well, there'll be a link down below. We look forward to seeing you guys in the next one and hopefully inside of the program. Peace.
Thanks, Trevor.